Hello, this is Sambhava, and I would like to introduce you to my dog, Haruka. Haruka and I have been working together on the spiritual path for coming up on a whole decade now, and I wanted to record a little video to talk about why she's so special to me, and also why Scottish Terriers in particular are so special to our lineage. So, let's get into it. To start, Scottish Terriers have a very special place in the type of practice that I do. And that's because my Buddhist meditation teacher's teacher owned Scottish Terriers. So when he was teaching and first prescribing the lineage to his initial set of students, he had Scottish Terriers, and he encouraged many of his students to also get Scottish Terriers in particular. Not just any dog, Scottish Terriers, because they have a few magical properties. So this is a lineage teaching that was passed on to the original set of students, then to my teacher, and when my teacher taught my peers, we also practiced the Scottish Terrier dharma. So I first had my seeing for Haruka about a decade ago. And with Scottish Terriers, there's a magical thing where oftentimes they will come into your meditation and introduce themselves when they are ready to be adopted into a family. And with Haruka, she was special because I originally had the seeing for a white dog. And you'll notice this very auspicious white patch on her fur. So when I first saw the picture and I was searching around for my Scotty dog, that flash of white is what initially drew my eye to her. And then energetically, I felt a similarity to that connection that I connected to in my meditation. So Scottish Terrier is very magical, and oftentimes they will connect in the second attention, long before you meet them in the first attention. So once we met, I came to visit her as a puppy. She definitely had a very intense personality. She's an Aries. She's very vibrant. And originally my seeing, because there was this flash of white in my meditation, I was thinking along the lines of a name that would represent something like Moonbeam. But then when I met her, she just had this energy that was very big, and it reminded me of a Haruka. So a Haruka is a being in the bardo, the after-death states. They're oftentimes depicted very intensely, but they're intense coming from a place of strong compassion. And I felt that it really resonated. And there's a picture I saw of her as a puppy where she's standing in front of a door next to these doorstops. And it just reminded me of like the foo dogs in front of a temple, like the temple protector. So she very much had that kind of energy, and it made me resonate with the name Haruka. So when we first met, that really instantiated. So what's special about Scotty dogs in particular? So when my teacher's teacher originally gave the Dharma for Scotty dogs, there was a lesson in having a Scotty dog that was a lesson in how you should love your teacher. So these dogs are wonderful little beings that you could sink all of this unconditional love in, and even if you're having a hard day with them, there's a lesson in working through that and coming back always to this place of love that was very similar to the patterning of a teacher-student relationship. So that was a big part that he wanted to transmit to his students through the Scotty dogs, which definitely comes through. There's also a lesson on the other end. Caring for a dog, it requires a lot of love and patience. I remember early on when she was a puppy, there was a lesson where we were having trouble communicating because I was a new dog owner. I didn't know why she wasn't listening to me, and she didn't know why I wasn't communicating clearly to her. So we had to work that out. And something in one of the dog training books that was very pivotal for me was that it's not the dog's fault. If the dog doesn't understand, that's actually your fault because you're not communicating clearly in a way that the dog can get. And that was really helpful because a lot of times with interpersonal human issues, it's I'm right, they're right, I'm wrong, they're wrong. There's always a give and take. But with dogs, it's actually very straightforward. If you're not getting the message across, there's a problem in your communication, and you need to fix your communication to get that. So that was a very helpful lesson for dogs, also a very helpful lesson for humans, as it turns out. Now, getting into the more magical properties, Scottish Terriers they have this very strong, subtle physical awareness. It was said by my teacher's teacher that many of them were dragons in a past life. So in this little tiny dog exterior that looks kind of like a teddy bear, they have this dragon energy, this dragon spirit. And this will oftentimes come out, and actually in meditation, you can actually feel the Scotty's dragon presence. So as part of being a past life dragon, they can also handle a lot of Kundalini energy. So in this meditation practice, we're moving through a lot of Kundalini through our subtle physical body. These little guys are warrior pups that can take it, and they actually work really well with that energy. Last thing that's just very special about them is they have a very particular type of attention that's very attuned to some of the nuances of our lineage. So we practice a lot of martial arts, and there's a attention that comes with martial arts and being able to have that awareness. And that attention is something that these Scotty dogs have very naturally. So when you look in a Scotty dog's eye, especially when they're very focused on something, it's not dissimilar to a martial arts attention that you might encounter in the dojo. So there's something by being around that energy that transmits, it rubs off on each other in a bi-directional way, because you're giving them a lot through your meditation and they're giving you a lot through their attention. And it's this beautiful cycle that we've been working through for the last decade. I'll tell you some stories. When I used to have an in-person meditation class, I was teaching in Oakland, and I would bring Haruka with me to class. And she's normally a very kind of shy dog outwardly until she gets to know you. But one thing I noticed immediately is that she would be very in tune to the emotional scene of my class. So as people were coming in, if they were having a hard time, even if I hadn't really clocked it yet, she would very much pick up on that and would actually go right up to them, sit at their feet, and be kind of extra affectionate, even if she had never met them before. So there's something that, like, even there's a selflessness in teaching that she was able to work with. And actually we became this very cool, vibrant pair, because she was able to help me actually point out where I needed to focus attention in the class. Scotties also have a magic power. They can call on you in the second attention. So sometimes I will be out, sometimes I'll be traveling, and she has a way in which she can come into my attention if she wants to check in on me. So this is, I guess, a form of the double. It's like the Scotty double that they have very strongly. So you have this very tight, subtle physical connection with your dog. And even when you're traveling, this is something where you can like work with through that inward connection that, again, is not unlike the inward connection you have with the teacher. And my last favorite Scotty story, it's an apocryphal story that my teacher's teacher said, but something that he really liked about Scotty dogs is they have this consistency. So he said, it doesn't matter if there's, the front door, the male person at the front door, or a space alien, or a killer, the Scotty's going to treat it the same way by being, fuck you, fuck you. They have this very intense energy that they project out with that. So he liked that it was consistent in all areas. They're very loyal, protective dogs, and they teach us a lot about the loyalty and protection we can do for the people in our lives. So for these reasons and more, I'm very grateful for little Haruka and the lessons she's given me. And to share the dimensions of Scottish Terrier with you at home, I'd like to do a one-song meditation to a song called The Unified Scotty Theorem. And this song is a song where it was inspired by the artists, the music yogis, all had Scotty dogs. And they made a joke that the unified Scotty theorem was meat, because Scotties are very food oriented. And when they lock in on a piece of meat that they want, there's an unbroken stare that you know what it is. So we're going to meditate together with one song on the heart, reflecting gratitude for the magical creatures that encounter us on our path. And let's begin. Very nice. So this is Sambhava and Haruka saying goodbye for now. Have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy your meditation.